Yo, what is going on, everybody? This is Brandon.
Stefan.
Welcome back to Comics Kings. Welcome back to the kingdom. This is Christ on Infinite Rants. This is the show where we take a news topic, a comic book conversation. We chat about it, let you guys know our thoughts, our breakdowns. Whatever we have to say, you will hear it from us. Today, we are going to be talking about Disney Plus, the Spider-Man trailer. They have been putting out a lot of announcements. We've kind of been consuming it, taking it all in. Now we're here to give you our breakdown, you guys. I'm super pumped for this link. How are you feeling?
I'm excited. I don't remember if they were alluding that they were going to drop this stuff, but I just know Friday morning I saw these trailers and teasers and I was like, what?
Right?
And then less than a week later, we get the new Spider-Man trailer. So
yeah,
Marvel's
it
on
was
all cylinders.
crazy. It was crazy. By the way, you guys, if you're seeing this on a Thursday, not on a Wednesday, that is no mistake. I know we're usually live at 8 o'clock Wednesday Eastern Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, to do this show, to get that interaction. Unfortunately, we don't have that today because we had a Creator's Corner with Greg Hurwitz, which is a fantastic show. Yep. Make sure you guys go run that back. But you can't go without doing this show, you guys. This is one of my favorite shows. So we're here doing it Thursday. Going to be dropping. You're seeing this around 1 o'clock. It'll be around. Stay tuned for our Hawkeye review, dropping either Friday afternoon or Saturday, depending on how I'm feeling, because Marv Wolfman will be coming on to the show Friday evening. So we have a lot of content for you guys. I might just drop Hawkeye on Friday. A lot of cool stuff going on. But Disney Plus was nearing their 2-year anniversary, which means that they are going to hit everyone on the yearly subscription and make you think, oh, we're celebrating it. No, we just got a fat paycheck, and we're going to give you news in return that you're not going to get for years to come. So that's exactly what it was. It's kind of a ripoff. I'm not going to lie. If you're doing the yearly subscription, you're probably like, just gave you $80 for these announcements. Damn. But they were good announcements. I'm not going to lie. They were good announcements. I have a monthly plan, by the way.
As do I.
Yeah, so everyone on their yearly plan, I hope you guys had a happy donation to everyone's bonus checks at Disney this year. That's exactly where your money's going.
Well deserved.
Well deserved. Pat yourself on the back being like, you just made someone's Christmas vacation, you made someone's Christmas vacation much better than the Griswolds. Go watch that. That's the best Christmas movie of all time. But anyway, first announcement that really came out was Agatha, House of Harkness. So this is kind of spinning out of WandaVision. Agatha being the mystical character that has guided Scarlet Witch in a very deceitful way. Kind of turn her into that whole House of M scenario, Avengers Disassembled, that we saw in the early mid 2000s. And now she's getting her own solo series. That actor, Catherine Hahn, that's her name, right? Really stole the show in WandaVision. I really enjoyed her role.
She absolutely did. I had she not been so stellar in the role of WandaVision or as Agatha in WandaVision, I might have been a little thrown off, like House of Harkness, but because she was so amazing, like I'm all for it. Like give me more. Like I'd love to see her again.
Right, and right now with Doctor Strange, we're getting into the Darkhold. We're elevating Wanda's powers, which has kind of been a whole mystery about a character that Marvel has yet to really tap into. Is how do you utilize magic? How are you gonna make these sorcerers be kind of that shield of the earth, but also like kind of there are a lot of back end things, especially dealing with the time stream, dealing with all sorts of chaotic things that really only characters like Scarlet Witch, Doctor Strange, Agatha. Later we might see Wiccan really allude to and control. Agatha as a villain, she never felt like a villain. I'm going to say that right now.
No, not at all. Even the stuff I've read, she's always someone who's kind of got like her own motives going on.
Yeah.
But, it's not necessarily villain-esque.
Right. So if you guys are reading Excalibur, which I always love to throw in there, if you're like Saturnine, Agatha is basically Saturnine. Her first appearance, by the way, was in Fantastic Four '94. I do want to throw out that factoid. And Agatha? That was Agatha's first appearance. That was also the first mention of Franklin Richards as well. That was a book that I do have in my collection, and I like it. It was a great read. I'm a huge fan of Silver Age Fantastic Four. I almost said Silver Surfer, but he is coming soon to the MCU. Stay tuned for more details.
Absolutely.
But I really enjoy Agatha as a villain because she's always behind the shadows, and she's there, whenever they need her, but she's always there, like you said, with her own motive, and she
Right.
really does turn the tide. So I'm excited to see where she fits in with some of these characters. This means we're going to be
Yeah.
getting a lot more Monica Rambeau.
I'm
Other
curious though if the show's gonna be like show her before she met Wanda, or is it gonna be, afterwards, the aftermath of WandaVision?
Or, with Shang-Chi being a little bit more magical,
Yeah.
that could also have a cool crossover that could lead us for more, let's say, more of Abomination. We can get maybe get some more Brother Voodoo. That's a character that I think is
Yes.
almost imminent that Marvel's just gonna throw under your radar
Yeah.
and not really promote, because Marvel has done this a few times that we've seen in their Disney Plus shows and in their movies. Well, they'll just name drop somebody. Spoilers full ahead if you have not seen Eternals. I'm going to drop a spoiler. I know it's been like 2 weeks now, but if you haven't seen it, just skip past 10 seconds, because Star Fox and Pip the Troll are now in the MCU, and they really did not advertise them the way that they have previous characters. So is that a new status quo for Marvel, that we are going to have those name drops? And if so, I think Brother Voodoo is an excellent candidate for that
Absolutely.
jaw-dropping experience that we know Marvel loves to do.
Yeah. And I think they're kind of well, like you said, they're kind of leading bread pieces up to Voodoo, Jericho Drum, because it seems like Steven in the MCU right now is kind of not losing
Lost.
a hold on things.
He's lost. He's like kind
Yeah.
of finding himself. He's a young sorcerer supreme,
Yeah.
so he needs guidance. He doesn't have
Yeah.
this. He doesn't have what's her name? The older sorcerer
The
supreme,
ancient one. Yeah.
the ancient one. We don't have her anymore.
Yeah.
Another candidate, we can get Yandroth from Strange Tales. What is it? Yandroth. Another mystical character. We can get Chthon. We can get.
Right.
We're gonna get the Living Tribunal. I think that was basically confirmed in Shang-Chi in the post-credit scene. So Marvel's definitely taking, and I've been saying this for years, I don't speculate. We don't do speculation here on Comics Kings, but whenever people ask me, what do you think the MCU is going, I always say Strange Tales 118 all the way to 181, and so far I've been nothing but correct. So even if you are looking to catch up on some reads, I highly recommend going on your Marvel Unlimited app and reading Strange Tales. They are great stories, and it's going to give you a great comprehensive mindset of how Steve Ditko, Dick Ayers, Jim Steranko got his debut in Strange Tales.
No way.
Strange Tales 154.
Wow.
How they weave together to really elevate Doctor Strange as a character, right? And all these other magical beings that surrounded him. You can also find those same stories in early Journey to Mystery, early Thor. I know Thor's got a little bit cosmic, but before that, they were more magic based. So definitely look at those books as well if you're looking to catch up, because Marvel is definitely going back to the Silver Age right now. They're taking modern right now to bring those characters in, but when those characters need a lesson, they're going to go back to Silver Age to retell some of these origins.
Absolutely.
The next announcement we have is the Miss Marvel, talking about a current character, Kamala Khan, and she will be played by this new actress, Iman Vellani, who I believe she's like a few years younger than me. I think she's still a teenager, which I'm really excited. She was
like 13, 14, like she's pretty young.
I thought she was like 16. I think because I was reading up on her. I thought she was 16, but
I think I might be getting, because they casted America Chavez for Doctor Strange 2, and I think the actress who's playing Chavez is like 13.
Chavez is gonna be great. Ooh, can we get an Ultimates by Al Ewing type story? Anyway, I will.
Blue Marvel, there's a character.
Blue Marvel's another great character that I think is heavily slept on.
Yeah,
that's for another Crisis on Infinite Rants. But Miss Marvel, you guys. By the way, none of these announcements have anything to them. No story, no pitch. Some have concept art because they have sooner release dates, but a lot of these just have a year, like 2023, 2022. Right. So
no cemented dates.
There's nothing set in stone other than the loose timeline that is the MCU and how they are operating post-pandemic, because the Marvel's kind of still figuring that out, is how are we going to adjust our release schedule after the pandemic and go through all of our phases while getting ready for the departure of Kevin Feige. So with that being said, I do think that Miss Marvel is going to be coming in 2023. They might push it to 2022 depending on if everything goes well. I think that they are on the same page, or that at least they will be for a character like this. What's very interesting is Marvel has said, the MCU said, anything that we have not done yet in the movies is free game. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
So Kamala Khan is technically an Inhuman. What will the now? What do you think, Link? Where are we going with this?
I like that you asked. I personally think that Feige's often said numerous times that anything not done by him, the Marvel Studios, is not considered canon, i.e., Agents of Shield. What was the Inhumans? Those are like the only
Runaways, Agent Carter. Even though but you're never gonna see that again. You're never gonna see that again.
They made that canon with the Butler.
But Madam Mask was in that show. Madam Mask is rumored to be in Hawkeye.
Interesting. We'll see how that turns out. Maybe it's like a bloodline thing with Madam Mask. I don't know.
I love Madam Mask, so I'm just happy that I will actually see her in a show that I will genuinely enjoy.
I'm curious to see if they're gonna introduce the Inhuman concepts within Miss Marvel. As we know, the next Captain Marvel movie, the sequel to Captain Marvel, is called The Marvels, right? And I'm thinking that I don't know if they confirmed it, but I thought I read somewhere that it's gonna have like Monica, Carol, Kamala, all the Marvels,
Marvel. They could bring us a recasting to the OG Marvel.
Actual Marvel.
And what you can do, you have the mutants, a key character that is widely known to be a big bad of Captain Marvel was Nitro. I would love to see Nitro appear as some sort of minor role.
Yeah.
Not Civil War, bro.
I mean, he caused Civil War, though. He caused Civil War.
I'm like, bro, that was with who was it? That was with
Speedball and him.
Speedball and them. What was their group called?
New Warriors.
The New Warriors. That was you will never see a New Warriors book in a long time, and that was a damn shame. That was good. I love Speedball. Turning Independence and all that. But Link's like, got it. Link said, I got it here, guys.
But I'm curious to see if Kamala's, because we've seen her, they're changing her powers, and I can understand that because she's very similar to Mr. Fantastic, and I get they want the iconic stretching elasticity to belong to Mr. Fantastic Reed Richards. Right. With her new power set, kind of looks like she's like energy projection, almost like a Green Lantern, but it's purple.
That's really weird because maybe because we're getting a Jessica Cruz in the DCEU, so. Yeah. I really don't want them to have any similar parallels because I like Jessica Cruz for her own reasons, and I'm growing to like Kamala Khan. I'm not going to pretend that I am a huge Kamala Khan fan because her character just has never been able to connect with me. I've never been able to look at this character and say, I can relate to you. I understand why so many people out there do, and I'm so glad you have that experience. However, she's just not a character that I'm interested in right now. I think I've read a little bit of the G. Willow Wilson run. I think that was the most pivotal moment. But I love Kamala when she's actually with Carol. I think that brings out the best in her right now. Yeah, and right now she's interacting with Hazmat as well, who is another little protege in the Captain Marvel book that Kelly Thompson is doing, and it's fantastic. And I'm really enjoying that. But I just don't like her in her own series. I like her in Champions. I liked her when Mark Waid was writing her. I liked her when Jim Zub was treating her. I did not when Eve Ewing wrote her, though, which I was really, really surprised about.
That's still in the backlog, that Champions volume from Eve. Yeah.
I read it, and I was, like, so done with it. And I love Eve Ewing. I loved her Riri. Her Riri is a very good run. It's a very good story, and I think everybody should read that. However, I think her Champions is very dismissible. I think it is very average at best. And
I got to read that and get back to you on it. I didn't hear too many people talking about it though, honestly.
No one talked about it. No one really talked about it, but it was promoted heavily as this whole outlawed event. It just fell flat. Yeah. And I don't think that Eve really had the same touch with the characters that she did with Riri. And again, that's okay. That's okay because not every writer is gonna be able to achieve that level to write a team like that, especially a newer team of characters that need that attention. I just think Eve had a little bit of a misbalance, I would say, in writing those characters. But with Kamala's TV show, I'm excited for it, mostly because I think it's going to be a fresh of breath air for the MCU. being that we have a younger character that's here to stay.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think changing the status quo of the MCU to smaller characters, smaller niche characters that can attract a different audience is something that the MCU has been very profound in doing. It's something that's been a goal of theirs, and I think Kamala Khan is the perfect person for that, being a young hero, minority, and female. So those are all the credentials right now that is pushing a newer audience in film, right? And giving more representation to that. And we've seen this being used in Shang-Chi, we've seen it in Black Panther, and we've seen it been very successful. I would even say Captain Marvel did a whole lot more than what Wonder Woman has ever dreamed to be. I will go as far to say that. Debatable. Black Widow, I would go as far to say that as well. But I think Kamala Khan will only add to that and allow other films in the future to ride that success.
I just hopefully it seems like they were, but she's a super fan in the comics. I'm hoping they do that, and I think that'll just add to her charisma, her charm.
Yeah, I think it'll be a very high energy. I can't see Kamala Khan being anything but high energy because Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers right now in the MCU, Brie Larson's a very laid back actor, I would say, and she's very just like, when she enters the room, right?
Right.
She's Captain Marvel. Brie Larson enters the room and all eyes go on her. And I think they're going to utilize that to the advantage. I don't know how much of Brie Larson we're going to see in here. We might just see clips, images. We might get a little parallel to the Naomi series where she's in the sky and it's just a little like Naomi Duffy is like looking at Superman from the sky. That kind of scenario. That's really what comes to my head. But other than that, I want the MCU to give me a reason to like Kamala Khan that I can't get into in the comics.
I think they'll be able to. The MCU is very good at distilling
right.
What
making a character likable.
Yeah. So I think they'll have no problem doing that.
And I don't want
Kamala her personality is very likable to begin with. It's not that there's okay that she hasn't resonated with you in the comics, but I definitely think they'll knock it out the park with the show.
And not, to be very honest, neither did Shang-Chi until the movie.
Right. Yeah.
And look with that, neither did the Eternals until the movie. Neither did Yelena Belova until the movie. And Jesus Christ, I'm in love with the character at this point.
Right.
Y'all know what I mean. Keep it PG. But I don't want to see the same story copy and pasted from the comic to the film. And as comic fans, that's something that we get asked a lot was it like the comics? A lot of people get angry that it's not similar to you'll get a lot of the same concepts. Don't get me wrong. You'll get bits and pieces from different storylines. If you're well read, you'll pick up on it. If you're not, it'll go over your head. But I don't want to see the same story because I saw that in a comic book.
Right. You got to take liberties when doing these things to keep it fresh. I want to see new spins, and
give me something.
It gets boring, like you said. It gets stale if we're seeing the same thing retold, shot for shot.
Right, and not everybody. And why were these comics made? Because they attracted comic book fans. If a comic book is made into a film the exact same way it was written, it's most likely not going to gauge its intended audience other than comic book readers. What is your goal, Marvel, right now? It is to appeal to a wider audience.
Right.
And hopefully I know comics are not their mainstay thing, but you want people to get attached to these characters, get attached to these heroes so that their names live on through generations. That's literally Marvel's goal. That's what they've been since day one when Stan Lee and Jack Kirby started everything. That's been their goal. Is to create stories that live on for generations, and they have. And I think the MCU, they're taking tribute from Stan and Jack. It's just that narrative. Moving forward to speaking of Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, guys, we are getting the return of the X-Men. I'm so excited for this. This is X-Men 97. Yes, Mutant and Proud. Yes.
I do not like that name. I get what they're doing, but the name 97 just doesn't roll off the tongue like X-Men 92. Which was when the series started, but they're going off of when the series ended. But I'm just glad it's back. That's I think that's universally. If you were born in the late 80s, 90s, I think if you love X-Men, a big contribution to that
because of the animated.
It's the series. Yeah, absolutely.
Right. And this is when X-Men was booming, right? This was before Image kicked up, and you lost a lot of your X talent. You lost probably half your X office at the time. at this time that the animation was coming out, you had Bob Layton in your X Office, Will Spertasio, the Simonsons doing X
Sylvester
Factor, Silvestri. You had I already said Will's. You had Jim Lee. You
Yeah.
had Chris Claremont just came back to the damn book. Jesus Christ, you had Chris Claremont in there as well, the godfather of the X-Men. Well, the grandfather, I would say Stan's a godfather, but you know what? This was before Scott Lobdell came in and messed everything up. I will say that, but
whoa. Lobdell's not bad, all right?
He's a bad person, but I'm really excited for this. Now, I did not see this coming out. As you all know, I'm not that old, but I've gone back, I've watched it, I've made all my coworkers at work watch it. I have forced it down their throats. And I'm I'm thankful for the animation because it gave a lot of newer characters in that universe at the time. Bishop, for example, very good treatment. And I was
it reimagined a lot of classic storylines. Like that's a great example of them not going panel for panel. Like Days of Future Past.
Bishop was the helm of that shit.
Exactly. But it worked. It worked very well.
Right, but, and you've got a lot of Gambit in there. You got a lot of Gambit who was getting pushed at the time.
Pick a cop, mon chéri. Wherever said I do a terrible Cajun accent.
Yeah. You had Rogue in there. Hey, Sugar. You had Betsy never got in there, did you? No, Betsy never got in.
No.
Which that
There's
was
a lot of background characters. I don't know if she ever made it.
Yeah. I don't think Betsy ever did, which I think that's something that we can look forward to. That being the case, especially with Marvel X-Men has taken this whole reign of X, Dawn of X, to define Quanon and Betsy in their respective futures, which is exciting in their own right. And I love the two for their different reasons. Betsy always has my heart. We didn't see Dazzler in the animated. I don't think we did. If we did, it wasn't for that long.
See, I was gonna say, I know they showed Mojo, but they had showed Longshot, didn't they?
They did show Longshot, but they did. I don't think we saw Dazzler.
They might have not. I haven't. I've got to go back and rewatch the whole series.
It's a binge. I'm definitely re-binging it. I'm definitely hitting that re-binge button, getting my popcorn out, just geeking out over it. But what the animation was great. It was a great way to get new X-Men fans into the mythos. You know,
absolutely.
And the X-Men have always been about diversity. So if you guys are looking for more of that, right, we might see North. I'm very high on seeing North Star's wedding in this animation. As much as I would like to see that on the live screen, I think the animation's a great way to really say this is where we ended in 90. This is where we ended in 97. This is where we're picking up going into the modern age of animation and how culture has changed since the 90s. I think that's a great way, adding in more LGBT representation, more minorities, and really that's what the X-Men is all about, is embracing the change.
Diversity, inclusion.
Right. Will we see Krakoa? No. Will I not be happy about that? I don't care. But, you know, hopefully we'll see like other characters that appeared past the date. Domino, or never really got a chance to shine in there. Domino, Cable. Well, Cable was in there for a period, but, you know, maybe we'll get Kid Cable. You never know.
Phantom X, maybe. Who knows? No, I'm just
Phantom X. You know, I want Quentin Quire.
That'd be an interesting ride at
Get
Xavier's.
Tom Cassidy.
Black Tom would be very interesting. Yeah, because they had Juggernaut, but
they had Juggernaut, but no Black Tom. I'm like, bro,
hand in hand, bro.
Just little things like that kind of set me up. I'm like, Chris, you didn't have Burn at the time. You could have done this. And then we're getting What If Season 2. Honestly, this is the one I'm interested in because it gives them, now that they've added more movies, they can do more with their animation. However, I wasn't a big fan of the first season because it literally just spun every story in their movies to a degree where I just didn't care. And then try to tie it all together, wrap it in a nice little bow. And I was like,
I think they had to approach it like that because they knew that this they knew that they had a lot of non-comic readers watching this. They've only seen the movies. That's their only I don't say introduction, but knowledge of the Marvel universe is the movies, the MCU. So keeping that in mind, I think they know any comic readers who see this can pick up on the comic influences and inspirations in the show, and they would still understand that they're connected to the movies. I think maybe with season 2, they'll do more deep dives into like comic related lore and stuff like that, not so much movie stuff. But I enjoyed the first season. I'm not gonna lie, and it wasn't amazing, but
I just wanted to be a cohesive start and end. It just didn't have a narrative to it that like I cared about. It was like, okay, if I watched the first episode and the last episode, I didn't miss anything in
Right.
between. Maybe the zombies episode.
I love that one. I think they're gonna kind of take it like an Exiles approach, where they're gonna be universe hopping to reset
Yeah.
the right to right the wrongs in each universe before they move on to the next
Call it
mission.
Exiles. Jesus
Huh?
Christ. Call it Exiles. Just be honest with yourself, Marvel.
But
What if this happened? What if this story started and ended within 25 minutes? Not what if it started and ended in a way that, oh, we're just gonna tie it together because we're the MCU. No. I don't care about that. What makes a good TV show? If you can have individual episodes, right? A lot of animated shows tell that narrative, right? You're not invincible. You're not telling a trilogy. You're telling one shot episodes.
But with that in mind, though, people want these episodes to matter overall to the overall tapestry. And if you're writing all these episodes as one-offs, it's like, if if you're not really feeling an episode, it's like, why watch it or why go back to it? But
I wasn't feeling half those episodes.
But there's an overall connectivity that they're building towards that you'll like maybe in the future you'll like they might allude to a past episode that you weren't really feeling, and it might make you want to go back and watch that with a new perspective, a new lens.
They failed at that part. Then
I wouldn't say that's a failure. That's you just like you gotta like give it a bit time to breathe.
I don't know. I just wasn't a fan of What If, and I don't think that. I think they could have done more. I think season 2. I'm looking forward to them doing more.
Absolutely.
And not just let's take everything we couldn't do in season 1 and do it in season 2. Like
I don't think they'll do that. I think they're playing it safe in season 1. Season 2, I think will be. I think you'll be impressed by season 2. Am I working on the show? No.
I really do. I really want to be, but I gotta call it for what it is. I did not enjoy it that much. Moving forward,
tough crowd.
Yes, I'm excited to talk about this one because this character who's so slept on, Maya Lopez, aka Echo, getting her own TV series. Guys, we all know this is spinning out of Hawkeye. So quick
back. Me off.
Echo spinning out of Hawkeye?
Well, no, the fact that she got her own show threw me off. I was like, oh wow, they must really be trying to set this character up or invest in her.
They must have a director that really gives a damn about this character.
That as well. That as well.
That really has something to say, because I've really noticed that with niche characters in the Marvel Universe. Let's take Sentry, for example. When Paul Jenkins is really the only creator that's touched him other than Bendis. Lemire had a little stunt, but Paul Jenkins came back to the books. He had more to say, and it did so much for the character, right? Look at Fraction's Hawkeye. That we will be talking again. I'm talking about it because we're talking about Echo. Hawkeye's a character that only if you really have something to say, it'll matter, right? If you genuinely care about the character, you'll have a story. That's only when these stories should come about. Echo's one of those characters that can have a really good story should someone have a great connection to the character, enough to write this kind of a story, like this kind of a narrative. So I think it's going to give her a brand new perspective. Quick backstory on it. After Hawkeye, Clint Barton was Ronin, the mantle did get passed. Pre-Secret Invasion, which is also another MCU announcement that we will get into. So do I think these two will marry together nicely? Absolutely. Maya Lopez took over the Ronin mantle, which is rumored to be in the Hawkeye show. Basically confirmed at this point that Ronin will appear as Maya Lopez.
But wasn't Kate Ronin at the beginning of the trailers?
Kate was Ronin, right? But by the end, I think it'll be Maya
that gets the suit. I could see that. Yeah, that'd be dope.
So she's a Native American martial artist, and she's basically like a female Taskmaster. She's also deaf, right? So she has a lot of qualities that can make for some very stunning visuals.
Absolutely.
What does this mean for me as a huge Daredevil fan? It means that Charlie Cox, sign your papers right now and get your butt in the MCU. I heard it's been rumored for years.
Echo is a backdoor pilot to setting up Daredevil again or something like that.
I think you will see Kingpin before you see Daredevil.
Yeah.
I think as long as I see Ben Urich in this Hawkeye show, or as long as I see Ben Urich, Charlie Cox is gonna be there.
Uh, maybe I wouldn't necessarily say they go hand in hand or are mutually
I would
exclusive.
say Ben Urich. Well, Ben Urich is a huge part of Daredevil, of the Daredevil mythos. As if you,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
still thinking that you are going to see Wilfred D'Onofrio. You're still going to see Charlie Cox in the MCU at some point. I'm not specking on it. I'm basically like predict. It's almost common knowledge at this point that Marvel wants to do it. It was a very popular show, and they would be very stupid to throw that away.
So, but with that in mind, Yurik died in the show, though.
Urich did die in the show, but with everything going on in the MCU and with all the time
It could
travel,
be rebooted. Yeah,
could be
I see what you mean.
you
But
know,
I
you don't
was
know,
thinking,
right? Because technically it's not canon.
right. But I was thinking they to keep the audience invested. They would say, yeah, that show still happened. It's just he's in the MCU now. Like, not to take away from the first 3 seasons, because
Yeah,
there's a big fan,
there's a
big
huge
fan
fan.
base for the first
I'm
3.
one of them. Um,
Yeah.
Echo, I'm really excited for because not a lot of people know about her character. And I'm telling you guys this right now as a Daredevil fan. I have never seen so many damn Echo fans in my life. I thought that was like an unspoken relationship where like, oh, you like Echo, I like Echo. You read the Bendis run, you read David Mack's run. Boom, we're like brothers at this point. We're homies, right? I've never seen so many people appreciate Echo, which I'm glad for. Don't get me
Badass.
wrong, but make sure you guys know which bandwagon you're hopping on and who the character really is. Before, like, that's just me being stupid.
If
But,
you like him, you like him. That's okay.
yeah, but I've never seen so many damn Echo fans in my life nowadays. But I like it. I love Echo. I'm not gonna pretend like Echo's one of my favorite characters. She's not. I enjoy a character, and I'm just looking forward to seeing her on the big screen.
Absolutely, yeah.
Spider-Man freshman year. It's Ultimate Spider-Man. Basically.
Essentially, yeah. Um, People keep talking to Uncle Ben. I don't think we'll see Uncle Ben in this cartoon. I think Marvel's definitely going to stray away. MCU is going to stray away from. I don't know. Never say never, but if they didn't
Marvel's
include him
never
in,
told his origin like that.
they haven't. But it's kind of like a Batman origin. How many times do we need to see Bruce Wayne's parents die in the alley? Like it's American mythology at this point. The Peter Parker's origin with Uncle Ben, Bruce Wayne, Clark Kent, those are all American mythology at this point. Like people don't read comic books or really follow these characters and they'll know the origin for these characters,
Right.
I mean, if it fits the story, go ahead, go for it. But I don't see them showing Uncle Ben's death this late in the game, how it will I don't know. I don't see the necessity for it at this point in the game. Because we know the outcome. We know
It says that this is going to mimic the early Spider-Man stories. So this is definitely going to be aimed at a kid-friendly audience. The only way that I can really see this grasping the attention of somebody trying to get into Spider-Man, right? What is your goal with this animated series? Is to appeal to kids. So I see this being more of an Ultimate Spider-Man while touching on early Silver Age tales.
I can see that.
So with that being said, I wouldn't put it past him to just recap.
I wouldn't put it past him, but me personally, I don't see the necessity story wise, especially if you're aiming it at kids, to include the death of a parental figure. That'd be kind of dark. But we'll see.
You're also Marvel, who has not told American mythology yet, technically.
But we know their mythology.
We know it, but Marvel wants to own it. That's the thing. They want to say, we told it this way, bro. I think they're going to do it. Speaking of another kid's tale, I Am Groot. Baby Groot. Cool, great.
Yeah, is it James Gunn?
Yep.
It's going to be good.
I'm not too excited.
So it's going to be animated or live action or?
It's animated, I believe.
It is what it is. I'll just watch it, of course.
No, it says. I don't know if it'll be I think it'll be animated. I think it'll be. They have no reason to do it live action. But and then we have Marvel Zombies, another animated spinning out of What If. I'm actually really excited for this. Brian Andrews will be directing it. Who I know, I have no idea who Brian Andrews is. I hope you do. But I don't.
I'm not too sure.
All right, but Marvel Zombies.
I'm usually good with directors.
Yeah, I don't. Where's Bryce when I need him? But Bryce will know. Come on, Bryce. Just told you to be here. But anyway, Marvel Zombies. I was not a fan of the comic book. I really wasn't. I really wanted to like the comic book. I didn't. I didn't. I
I'm
just
a Marvel Zombies fan, guys. I don't know. I've that's always been my favorite horror element. And when this was coming out, like back in 2005, like I was 16 going on 17. Um, I just seen like 28 Days Later, a few years earlier. Dawn of the Dead, Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead had just come out a year before this. So zombies were big for me. So my favorite horror element or franchise genre mixed with my favorite thing in the world, comic books, it was a win for me. It could have easily been a throwaway story, but I feel like Robert Kirkman really built a unique world with the Marvel Zombies. I can see it not being for everyone, but I enjoy it personally. I'm excited for this show.
Story. It was a cool story. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. It was a cool story. I just didn't like the execution of it.
Understandable.
The art was fine. Art was fine.
Sean Phillips.
I'm excited to see what they do with the animation, especially because the whole Marvel Zombies was centered around Magneto.
But doesn't this? I thought it's supposed to take place after the Thanos.
It is, but you could still involve if you're doing an animation X-Men series. You can still involve X-Men characters. It's not out of the rule book.
That's true, but they're going off previously established MCU movies, which in Infinity War we didn't have. But we'll see. They could mix it up, but I'm just being logical.
They can do something completely different, right? Because technically,
no, they could.
Technically, the zombie apocalypse happened on 2 different Ultimate Earths or universes, right? So you could say they got into another pocket dimension, right?
I was kind of hoping this would be the show was going to be, before I heard it was the connection to the Thanos, that it was going to be more akin to the comics where they could talk, actually, the zombies and stuff, retain memories. But I'll still watch it. Marvel Zombies, it's a win.
And then we got a few teaser trailers. I didn't really get to watch most of them. I just like the announcements that come. We know Moon Knight is coming, so they're definitely building anticipation for that. Oscar Isaac, aka Poe Dameron, aka probably the
Leto Atreides.
You know what's really funny is, as much of a dud that Star Wars was, it really opened a lot of other roles for some of these other characters, like Johnny Boyega, what's his name, Oscar Isaac, the chick who what's her name who played Rey? Help me.
Daisy something.
Sure, fine, whatever. Who cares? She wasn't that good anyway. But I'm kidding. But I'm excited for this. I'm really excited for how they're doing Moon Knight. There's a huge trope where Moon Knight is Marvel's Batman. I don't like when people say that, but
I mean, he is, but he isn't. But I get why the comparison is drawn. He's a little bit more of an edgelord than Batman, a little more unhinged. His whole point of wearing white is because he wants evil, the villains, the bad guys, to see him coming, like to let him know, like, yo, I'm coming for you. Like, I'm not afraid. I'm not scared. You're gonna get busted.
Right.
So I can see why people draw those comparisons. But yeah, he's a completely, there's similarities, but he's a very, very different character than Batman, tonally.
Right. And then we got She-Hulk, which I'm excited for.
Yes.
The Dan Slott run was fantastic. You guys want to recommend, or my recommendation to, if you want to go read She-Hulk, definitely the John Byrne stuff in the 90s.
Absolutely.
It's fine.
Classic.
That's classic. That's actually what I think they're going to be basing a lot of this off of,
as
well as what Dan Slott did with the character, focusing a lot of the law side and how she handles herself in New York. I think that was a profound theme in that book. I really enjoyed it. That was one of my favorite runs. I love Dan Slott.
Now I see why you like Empire. But that being said, that being said, I'm curious to see how they'll handle because I'm sure that what superheroes do could be considered vigilantism. Vigilantism, is that a word?
Sure.
I think that
sometimes
it's gonna try to balance that world of her trying to do things within the law, but understanding that she has to step outside the law at the same time in order to get things done sometimes, and how the dichotomy of that is gonna affect her.
Right. And then we also got like a little teaser for Ironheart, just like the logo.
Oh yeah,
Cool.
I'm excited for Riri. When does this? They said what 2023. So yeah, she's gonna
There,
be introduced in Black Panther 2.
Marvel basically said 2022 to 2023, or sometimes I think most of this will be 2024 for a
I
lot of
Yeah,
this. And
it's
then we
definitely
got
gonna
a
be after Black Panther. But
right.
I'm excited, of
And we
course.
got another logo of Secret Invasion, which
That I'm curious.
I'm really stoked for how they do that. What worries me is Secret Invasion had so much build up to it. There's a lot of hype. You know, like we've already seen the scrolls. There really has, and we've been kind of forced to empathize with the scrolls. I
That could
didn't
all be
feel though.
misdirection, though.
Right. It really could be, and that would be great storytelling. And I hope they pay it off that way. We're gonna keep learning about the scrolls. So if you see them appearing in other MCU films, don't be shocked, you guys. I'm excited for this. This is one of my favorite comic book stories.
I I was talking about we were talking about this with Robbie the other day, pop culture philosophers, and he was
Station.
of the mind station. He was of the mind that with this show you could intertwine the Skrull Kree War and Secret Invasion into one storyline and
Yeah,
it'd be cohesive. And I agree with that. I think they're gonna do a lot of overhauling with that.
that'll be very thoughtful. And I think, and if that's the case, then you will see an elevated role in the
Yeah.
Mantis character, which would be cool.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Um, yeah, and you'll get to see Swordsman. I think you're going to see Swordsman. That would be dope too, because Swordsman was a key character in that storyline as well. Definitely a lot of reading for people to catch up on in the Marvel universe to prepare for these stories or prepare for these films, shows, whatever you want to call them. Excited for it. Before we move on, talk about the Spider-Man trailer. Make sure you guys take the second to hit that thumbs up. Don't forget to do that. It helps out the channel. If you guys are interested in buying merch, t-shirts, and hoodies, shoot me a DM on Instagram. We're working on new ways to get that better. I've been very bad
Absolutely.
about that because we've been doing a lot of stuff lately, and I'm trying to balance it all. Stay with me on that. I promise you got people ordering merch almost every day at this point. So make sure you
Thank
guys
you.
hop on the bandwagon, get some merch, support the channel. You guys, they're super comfy. Dry fit hoodies could not get better than that.
Just
Um,
wearing
and then yeah, subscribe to the channel if you like what you're seeing. You know, obviously, if you liked this video, you're almost inclined to go all the way. The subscribe button, it's free, and your support is greatly appreciated as always. Link, I'm gonna throw you the trailer. Catch.
So I enjoyed it. With so much writing on this movie, they were very cryptic with what they included because of how the internet works nowadays and fans dissect everything.
Oh,
Um, it wasn't it wasn't like an amazing trailer, but I understood they were working within certain constraints. And there's a certain shot at the end of this trailer that if you've seen the Civil War trailer, you remember they're all lined up at the airport running towards each other. If we remember correctly, Spider-Man was not in that first trailer because they hadn't revealed that Spider-Man was going to be in the movie yet, or they might have, but they didn't reveal what role he was going to be playing within the movie. You know, so the second trailer is where we got Spider-Man. So we're like, oh wow, Spider-Man's going to be fighting. People were hyped about that, and insinuating that he was going to have a larger role in this movie. Same thing with this Spider-Man movie. There's a scene at the very end where Spider-Man's going against jumping towards multiple villains, and it just doesn't make any sense why Spider-Man would dive in headfirst against 3, 4 different villains, which is making me think there are things edited out, other Spider-Man. But yeah, the trailer just kind of showed. It's
it was a cool
I
way to
don't know.
bring back old Spider-Man fans from the
Yes,
Sonyverse, because you're
yeah,
getting your Sinister Six, you're getting everything from Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, you're getting stuff from Tobey Maguire's, you're combining all those villains into one big
greatest
bag
hits.
thing, and you're saying, "Screw you, Mysterio. We never liked you, and you just don't matter." And I like that because Mysterio really doesn't matter, people. Um,
Oh, who's the villain in Homecoming? Oh, Vulture.
Vulture.
Yeah, but what they're doing is they're taking the main villains from the first 5 Spider-Man movies. So Spider-Man 1 through 3, Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2. If you notice, there's a villain from each one of those movies in No Way Home,
Right.
like the
Um,
main villains. I'm
Now the
excited.
title is very peculiar to me because he could have picked a bunch of ones. No Way Home means maybe Peter is not going to mentally be able to come back from this. Maybe he will never be the same. No Way Home, he'll never get back to his original timeline. No Way Home, he'll never go back to having a normal life. No Way Home, whatever. So I'm really, 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 really concerned about the ramifications for this character. Maybe this is No Way Home because this could be the last film that Disney and Sony do together, and it'll be 100% MCU or
Sony
whatever.
after that.
Or
I'm
Sony.
thinking like if they don't, if like I was thinking about that, and I think like the movie could end with Peter sacrificing himself, trying to save everybody, going through a portal, thinking he's gonna die or something, but he wakes up in a identical but not same universe, i.e., the Sony universe, and that's how we get another saga of Spider-Man movies with just Sony. If Disney and Sony don't happen to work out another deal,
right? But you're not gonna have two. Sony will. If Sony and Marvel both make Spider-Man movies, you ain't watching the Sony Spider-Man movies.
But Marvel can't make a Spider-Man movie without Sony.
Right.
Like Sony owns those rights, so it's like they have to play ball with each other. I think they're gonna work out another deal. It just makes more sense. Like Spider-Man is great, but with what the MCU has set up, I don't think if Sony released a Spider-Man movie just with him, it would kill the MCU movies.
You also gotta imagine. Originally, the deal was the MCU gets all the theater presence. Everything made at the box office goes to the MCU. Oh wait, no, it's the other way around.
It was
But who got
that's what it was.
Merchandise went to Sony, right?
Yeah, well, merchandising kills everything else because merchandising includes clothing, video games, toys, party stuff, like just Spider-Man napkins.
The theater presence is not as big because of the pandemic no more.
Absolutely.
So if you're Marvel, what kind of a deal are you going to work? Because Spider-Man's the only character you're ever going to make a deal for.
And if I'm someone in the comments, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe Marvel was getting a shit end of the deal to begin with. Like they were only receiving a certain portion of the box office. And I believe Sony was still receiving more than them. And the deal they made after Far From Home was that it's almost like split 50-50. I think Sony gets a little bit more of the box office. But within that, Marvel gets to use Spider-Man in their universe, which helps the rest of their movies since Spider-Man is their flagship character. So it's like they spend money, but they also get this money back by getting to use Spider-Man in their universe. But they got a sweeter deal after No Way Home. Who knows how this will work out going forward? But I think Marvel, and so especially with this alternate universe, multiverse being set up, I think they're going to work out another deal for sure.
100%. Thank you guys so much for catching this video. What are you most excited about that is coming up in the pipeline for the MCU? Let us know in the comments below. Like we said earlier, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you guys join the family. It is free. We got a lot of dope content coming out for you almost every day at this point. Try to stick to 3-4 times, but this week was a little hectic going into the holidays. You got lots of Thanksgiving binging from us to you. That is how we're showing thanks, by giving you a lot of fun stuff to watch. As always, you guys, we did lose a valued member of our comic community, Sam's Tangled Web. As always, rest in peace, Sam. I know Sam was very excited to watch the trailer and was very excited for Spider-Man. That was his favorite hero. So, Sam, I know you're going to be watching this movie with everybody, partying it up, because you always be living on through us. So,
love you, brother.
Love you, Sam. Station everybody. And remember, hug your loved ones. Let everybody know you care, whether it's your friend you haven't spoken to in 5 days. Make it a point. You're never too busy to let somebody know that you care about them. So take that time.
Be kind.
Right.
And be excellent.
Party on, dudes. Station.